Let's bring in Olumide Additional now, financial market analyst. Hello, Olumide. How's it going?
Hello, Ladi. Good afternoon. It's fine.
Fan-
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's great to have you, Olumide.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it's been quite the first half, of 2025. From what you're seeing so far, how would you describe Bitcoin price action, Ethereum, in the first half of 2025?
Ladi, from a macro level, I think it's been amazing. The first part of this year when we saw Bitcoin oscillating at a record high, despite early fears that Bitcoin was going to retrace back below the 75,000 mark during the April 9th sell-off, and the recovery has been so great that even institutional stocks like Coinbase, they hit record high last week, and that's just really affirms the excitement in the space. Also, we saw increased allocation in Bitcoin in different markets, particularly Japan via Metaplanet. We're seeing other institutional players, including President Trump investment firm, planning to go into Bitcoin. So it's a market that's really evolving, but I think Bitcoin has set its pace in the digital asset class as a pioneer crypto asset. However, I think it's been mixed bags for the altcoin market, yeah, and that has really shown with Bitcoin dominance at oscillating at quite high levels. When you look at the fact that Ethereum is still down from its January high, you also look at the fact that many of these altcoins have not recovered, particularly meme coins. The rug pulls, the SEC misinterpretation about the SEC interpretation that these asset classes don't really have value has really weighed on that space, and you could see that many of these assets are still down by 50% if you consider before President Trump comment. So yeah, lad, if we look at it from Bitcoin macro, I think the market is really solid. Bitcoin really needs to stay where it is, and it's really going to break the monthly close for June. Also, if you look at inflows is really is really going all cylinders. BlackRock still has so much Bitcoin. I think last time I checked, over 1 million Bitcoins. Laddie, look at MicroStrategy. Between MicroStrategy and BlackRock, they hold more than 1 million Bitcoin. And when you look at the total amount of available supply, and you see increased buying in this space, while the Genius Act is coming to play, we expect the House of Rep to pass that into law. Where that comes into law, it really means the banks will step in. And when banks come into that space, liquidity will burst in. So it's a lot to leave out, but I think many coins are going to wither by the way, Ladi.
Right. I'm talking about withering away. At this point, we were seeing the big boys, institutional investors there accumulating all of that Bitcoin with Metaplanet there, buying about 1,005 Bitcoins at this point. So who's accumulating altcoins? Are the big boys looking at any of these altcoins at all?
Yeah, we've seen. That's why if you look at Ethereum's latest price action, you see that by this time in the morning, sorry, yesterday it was really looking like it was going to break above the 2,500, and it did. And you look at as we speak, is really back below, and that's because we saw few institutional investors talking about adopting the strategy of holding Ethereum. But when you look at the data for this year, also it's been bad in terms of hacking. The worst amount of capital loss in the crypto market happened first time this year, in the first half of this year, and largely because of the Ethereum theft that was allegedly sponsored by North Korea. You recall that Bybit lost about $1.6 billion worth of Ethereum, and that really affected the asset class price action. So it's fragile for the altcoin space. XRP is still lingering. The case is not yet closed. The judge cancelled the or ignored the SEC Ripple settlement plan. It means they really have to go back. And you look at Solana also, the meme coin excitement has watered down, so it's still half from its record high, despite the excitement in that asset class. So I think the pump action for the second half is stablecoin integration, Bitcoin traditional acceptance,
Okay.
and more inflows into the blockchain technologies.
All right, wait and see at this point. Thank you so much, Olumide Adesina, for breaking it down for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Lady.